This is true to the game too. If you haven't seen the first part, check description for links. Otherwise, what had happened was, Gena Rollins fell for a drug kingpin named Quadir Richards. He was killed in Philadelphia by another dealer named Jerrell Jackson because Jerrell wants to be the top drug dog. After Quadir's death, Quadir's grieving writer-girlfriend Gena leaves Philadelphia to start over and goes to New York for her one-year unpaid internship with the help of the money Quadir had left for her. Unpaid? A year after Quadir's death, Shug, Quadir's trusted confidant and drug cooker, leads the hijacking of a huge drug shipment intended for Jerrell as revenge for Quadir. This attack becomes the baptism by fire for Gena's younger cousin Bria, who has joined Shug's group. Although they've successfully taken the shipment, 2 of their members died. Shug later teaches Bria about removing the shipment's GPS and repacking it for distribution. Meanwhile, Gena is in her 10th month of working for a fashion magazine. When her boss notices that she works 16 hours a day and doesn't even mingle or unwind, he assumes she has issues. Unpaid, by the way. He gives her a mandatory 2-week vacation so she can get her pussy ate. Titus, one of the men transporting the shipment, survives and immediately reports to Jerrell and Jerrell's right-hand man, Salim. When he tells them that one of them said that it's for Quadir, Jerrell says Quadir can't send out people because Jerrell killed Quadir. Since Titus saw Bria unmasked, Titus says he saw one of the attackers' faces. Catching up on the phone, Gena tells Bria and their grandma, Get, that she's on vacation. When asked if she's coming home for Quadir's memorial, she says she won't because it will only amplify her grief. Get tells her that she can't escape Quadir no matter what she does because he's in her heart. Bria visits her friend Aaliyah and shows her 2 huge bags of baby powder. She then agrees to give Aaliyah 25% of whatever she can sell. Jerrell strangles Quadir's man, Rasoon, and forces him to reveal the identities of the 4 women who hijacked his shipment. Rasoon insists that he has no idea because he's been out of the game since Quadir's death, so Jerrell kills him. Low-key, I want Jerrell's actor to strangle me like that. Terrell, Jerrell's brother, who's in prison, calls Jerrell after hearing about what happened. He then informs Jerrell that he'll be back in less than a week. Finally, some good news for Jerrell. Jerrell informs Salim that they have 2 more weeks before they run dry and close down, and that they still have to replace the stolen shipment. He then decides to focus on Gena because Quadir would trust her the most with his money. When Gena receives an offer to fly to LA and do a 5-page interview article on millionaire and cannabis entrepreneur Carlos Sanchez, she quickly accepts it. Jerrell, with Salim, goes to New York to meet with his associate, Vaughn. After the meeting, Jerrell instructs Salim to return to Philadelphia to find the attackers, assuming they're going to attend Quadir's memorial. He then says he's staying to find Gena so he can take Quadir's money. He's confident that he can easily get close to her since she doesn't know that he killed Quadir. Meanwhile, Gena fills 2 bags with cash and drives to LA. Jerrell gets his fake ID and passport where it says his name is David, from a woman named Lucy. He then makes Lucy pose as a florist and call Gena's office to ask for her address, saying she's confused about where to send Gena's flowers. Later, Get invites Shug over to vent about Bria misbehaving and prepares some chicken.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me get my hot sauce. I like dark meat, okay?
Same girl, same. Dalvin, the guy Bria is casually seeing, tells Bria that he wants them to be exclusive. This gives Bria the ick, so he takes back what he said and settles on their casual relationship. Jerrell arrives at Gena's apartment building and poses as Gena's cousin from her dad's side. The apartment staff member tells him she's driving to LA and shares with him Gena's itinerary. Someone fire this man. Salim, who's getting rid of a corpse, tying loose ends, calls Jerrell to inform him that the cops are harassing the trap houses, asking about Rasoon. After Jerrell shares that he's in LA following Gena, Jerrell points out that Gena having a fancy apartment and car, which she couldn't have possibly afforded with her writing job, only strengthens his suspicion that she's living off Quadir's money. A man named Mark shows Gena her LA Airbnb. When she asks what they do for fun, he says he personally loves beach volleyball. Girl, you better play with that foreign man's balls. At night, Salim shares about the shipment problem with his escort, Aaliyah, who then realizes that it's the one Bria was involved in. She then hears Salim say that he'll make them and their families pay. When Ga, Get, and Bria attend Quadir's memorial, Titus, who's attending with Salim, points Bria out as the girl he saw. Salim then takes a photo of Bria, who is sitting next to Aaliyah. Shug, on the other hand, doesn't attend the memorial because she's staying low for a while. Jerrell finds Gena's LA Airbnb and sees Gena leave via a chauffeured car. While a mysterious black car follows Gena, Jerrell trespasses into Gena's Airbnb, where he finds a bag on the dining table containing clothes, a photo of Gena and Quadir, and 3 money bands with $10,000 written on them. After failing to log into the laptop next to it, Jerrell attaches a tracker under Gena's car. Carlos's assistant, Danielle, tours Gena around Carlos's vast cannabis farm and facility. She explains that Carlos is a very busy man, so she'll have to wait for his availability. He probably just smoking weed. At a gas station, 2 men hit on Gena and get aggressive when she dismisses them. Jerrell intervenes, and after the men back up, he befriends Gena, introducing himself as David. Later on, a fine, shirtless Mark invites Gena to play beach volleyball, and she accepts. Unbeknownst to Jerrell, who's watching Gena and Mark have fun, the mysterious black car following Gena around is nearby, and the driver's watching him watch Gena. After the game, Mark walks Gena to her car, and they agree to hang out again soon, acting a little flirty. I usually like dark meat, but that white man can get it. Afterwards, Salim informs Jerrell about Bria being the girl Titus saw, saying it looks like Gena set the whole thing up. Jerrell instructs him to find the other members first before making any moves. Jerrell follows Mark and orders him to ghost Gena. When he firmly refuses, Jerrell beats him until he coughs out blood. No, not the eye candy! Meanwhile, Salim beats up Dalvin to force information out of him. Dalvin says he and Bria aren't serious, and he'll harm her for the right price. Salim informs Jerrell that Titus is watching Bria and Aaliyah 24/7. He suggests kidnapping Bria and forcing information out of her, but Jerrell wants to gather information quietly so they can get back at them in full force all at once. Jerrell follows Gena in grabbing her takeout and acts like it's fate that they keep meeting. He asks her out, and she considers it. After, Gena meets with Carlos for the interview. When she starts to ask questions, Carlos immediately stops her and says he was very close to Quadir, taking Gena aback. Carlos has always wanted to meet the woman that made Quadir happy, and he's willing to answer any questions she may have about Quadir. Meanwhile, Detective Joe snatches up Titus, who is seen on the hijacking CCTV footage. He urges him to become his informant to solve the Philadelphia murders, saying his folks don't care about him anyway. Knowing he's right, Titus throws Jerrell under the bus. On Jerrell and Gena's first date, Jerrell says that he's still grieving from his wife's passing a year ago to get her to open up. After Gena shares that she recently lost her fiance too, they agree that their situation takes the pressure off rushing into a relationship. So of course this means Jerrell is going to eat her roast beef. With Salim threatening Dalvin, Dalvin calls Bria to invite her to his friend's party that night, and Bria accepts because they'll have food.
That bitch would do anything for a free meal.
Shortly after arriving at the party, Dalvin starts acting strange, so Bria hides and locks herself in the storage room. She then calls Shug and asks her to get her because Dalvin became hostile when she refused to do drugs.
First of all, they ain't even got no food.
Shug asks her to text the address and immediately leaves. When Jerrell arrives at Gena's Airbnb to pick her up on their second date, Gena is still getting dressed, so he makes a drink for both of them. Salim visits Aaliyah in her apartment, and once inside, he confronts her at gunpoint about knowing who robbed them. She denies any knowledge and manages to lower his guard, and they start sharing COVID. Man folded so quick for good kitty. Mark, who's still weak and recovering, calls Gena to warn her about the psycho that severely beat him up just because he was seeing her. He then describes how Jerrell looks. Because of this, Gena apologetically tells Jerrell that she needs to postpone the date and leave due to an emergency. Jerrell, who knows Mark called her, knocks her out with one punch. Shug arrives at the party and sees Dalvin banging on the storage room door, scaring Bria. Shug punches him and ushers Bria out. When Gena wakes up, Jerrell demands that she hand him Quadir's money and demands to know who Bria worked with in stealing his shipment. But Gena is genuinely confused. He warns her that her family's lives are on the line if she won't give in. While Salim thinks he's about to spill his mayonnaise on Aaliyah, Aaliyah grabs his gun and shoots him on his side. As Salim groans in pain and threatens to kill her, Aaliyah escapes with his gun. Dalvin catches up to Shug and Bria, pushes Shug to the ground, and kicks her repeatedly. When a partygoer intervenes, Shug immediately gets up and beats Dalvin, allowing her and Bria to leave. Gena fights back, kicking Jerrell on the throat, but he slams her on the table and chokes her. When he pauses to lick the blood off her chin, Gena punches him on the throat. As Gena crawls away, Jerrell kicks her and shatters a vase on her head, knocking her out. While Jerrell rummages through Gena's Airbnb to find the money, Quadir arrives. As it turns out, Quadir is alive and is the driver of the mysterious black car following Gena around. Genuinely, what the helly? Much to Quadir's horror, he finds Gena on the floor, bloody and unconscious. He then hears Jerrell screaming, furious that he only found money bands. Tired and annoyed, Jerrell slumps on a chair in the bedroom, only to realize that the seat cushion is full of cash. Unfortunately for Jerrell, he has barely taken any cash out of the cushion when Quadir appears and points a gun at him. Jerrell and Quadir are both shocked that they're once again facing each other. Jerrell tells Quadir that shooting him is too easy and challenges him to a fistfight. So Quadir removes his gun's detachable magazine, puts his gun aside and fights him. "I don't care, I would have gone the easy route." Jerrell manages to overpower Quadir, kicking him on the floor while he's spitting blood. However, while he's putting the magazine back into Quadir's gun, Quadir recovers. Quadir beats him, chokes him until he doesn't respond anymore, and shoots him. Terrell calls Jerrell's phone, but Jerrell doesn't pick up. Meanwhile, Quadir takes Gena to another house. Titus names Jerrell, Shug, and Bria as suspects. Detective Joe and his team then thank Titus for cooperating and helping them solve the Philadelphia murders. It's giving Tubi budget, and that's the ending of part 2. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Jerrell has some twin that ends up in the third movie. There's one last part, but I'm obligated to ask, should I cover it?
Did you guys enjoy that one? Make sure to subscribe and keep watching for more. I won't judge. You can click here or here.